Okay, hopefully you guys can all see that. Okay, again, this is our first town hall meeting. We're hoping we're able to do this monthly as we go forward to make sure we're communicating as best we can, especially with the changing dynamics that we're facing. Going forward, where we're at right now, obviously we're committed to trying to keep the kids as safe as possible. We have been training already. For those who don't know, we've been obviously excluded from Pomona College and Claremont McKenna colleges and basically all high school programs. I see that it's going to be a challenge to be able to get into these type of facilities that we're used to in the future, as most colleges and high schools are going to return in progression. First is going to be obviously allowing their own student athletes to use the facilities. So that going forward, Coach Beamer has done a fantastic job of trying to find us some alternate sites. We've been training out of Rose Hills and South Hills. And now we obviously have added a Fontana Aquatic Center. Coaching staff, we obviously, all right. What are you guys seeing? Sorry, let me pop that up again. I just was told we're not in the full screen. Is that better? Can anyone give me a thumbs up? Okay, perfect.
That's better.
Apologize for that. And Fontana Aquatic Center, we are desperately trying to find more water, and I think we'll have some better news for us in the next couple of days, honestly, in regards to adding some pool times. Coaching staff, obviously we've had to trim down our coaches down quite a bit. We've all basically have taken significant pay cuts and we're trying to return, which, you know, again, Coach Beamer and Coach Law have been working with the athletes quite a bit, as well as myself, and Coach Law will be joining us, and we will be, as we are able to grow, we'll try to grow back our coaching staff. Obviously our goal and the number one reason we want to have this meeting is to discuss getting back to playing. I mean, I am dying to get out of Zoom and get out of the house. And I am a water polo coach. We are water polo coaches. I don't think we ever thought we'd signed up for a internet experience sitting at home. So, and we're very interested in keeping the kids safe, keeping ourselves safe as we go forward. And just expectations. I know we've chatted with several of you in the last couple of months, and I know a lot of people have different opinions on this whole COVID, but we're trying to ask if people be realistic and communicating. Coach Beamer? You're on mute.
Okay, are we good now? I couldn't unmute myself. Okay, folks, so I just wanted to talk about some of where we are basing our guidelines for our training and what sort of protocols we're going to be implementing or have been implementing with the kids as we try to reopen as safely and as efficiently as possible. This is hyperlinked, and I know we're going to make this presentation available to you guys, but that's a link to the LA County reopening protocol for youth sports leagues. One thing that we like to note is that the CDC has come out several times and said that there's no evidence of transmission of COVID through recreational water, specifically chlorine. And then I know you guys can read it. I'll read that for you. The pertinent parts for California specifically, Gavin Newsom came out and said, youth sports only permitted when physical distancing can be maintained at 6 feet, and a stable group like a class can be maintained to reduce the risk of transmission. Our activity should focus on individual conditioning and training. Face coverings, which doesn't apply to us because we are an outdoor facility, are required indoors. And students should also avoid sharing equipment unless it can be disinfected in between uses. And you can see that we have a little asterisk there between disinfected. As we were really poring over the state and county CDC guidelines for this, we really have three things that go in our favor for water polo as a sport. Number one, especially out here, we are outside, and in terms of transmission, being outside has been greatly influential on less transmission, right? The second thing is sunlight, which we happen to be able to play our sport in. And the third and most critical part is the fact that we are in chlorine. We are quite literally in a disinfectant the entire time. And that has allowed us to utilize the space in not just strictly conditioning and lap swimming, but we can do some skill work with the equipment that we have when the kids bring their own balls. Alex, you want to go to the next? Okay, so these are the protocols that we've been following to be as compliant, to be as safe, to be as proactive as we possibly can as a club, to keep your kids safe, to keep us as the coaching staff safe, and to really mitigate the transmission of COVID-19. When the kids are coming to practice, they are wearing a mask. They go from the parking lot to the deck to where they're putting their stuff down, masks on. We're currently not allowing use of locker rooms, with the exception of bathroom emergencies, right? But the idea is that we want the kids showing up in their suits and leaving in their suits. We've been very diligent about checking temperatures upon arrival. And one of the things to help us with the social distancing, quite frankly, is that we are not allowing parents on deck. For those of you who have been involved, you know that there's been a drop-off of your kid at the pool. We zap them with the gun, and then we direct them to a place where they can put their stuff down. During practice, well, I guess this is still technically pre-practice, we have the kids put their stuff on deck 6 feet apart so that they are spreading themselves out. We monitor and encourage to socially distance on the pool deck, and we do so in the pool as well. Following the Pasadena Health Department and others, we've now moved from 2 to 3 athletes per lane, where the entire time we can still maintain that 6 feet of distance throughout. And just recently, starting August 1st, we've implemented the ability to start passing and shooting where permitted. The where permitted there on shooting is that currently the facilities that we're using are not entirely excited about us shooting a water polo ball at a cage, but we're hoping that will change soon. So this is where the asterisk comes in about cleaning the equipment prior to use. So I can have 2 athletes, minimum of 6 feet apart, passing a water polo ball in between each other. The presence of chlorine is quite literally disinfecting the ball on each particular use. That's our logic there, that we're disinfecting the equipment. And then generally, I know in the past some kids would feel bad if they didn't feel particularly well about missing practice. Well, that notion should be squashed right away. If you or your child is not feeling well, we like you, but we don't want to see you, right? We want you to stay home and be proactive about containing spread. Okay, I think we're good with that slide. Alex, it's you.
Yep, I mean, you're more welcome to add in, especially about the pools. But future of water polo and just water polo in general. I think we're all super sensitive to trying to get back. Right now, currently, as I said, we're in South Hills and Red Hills. We're trying to accommodate like an east-west scenario. We have gotten some time in Fontana. And as we add time, we will be staying with this like monthly session, kind of hourly practice plan. We're hoping by next month to go into levels. So like a high school kids, age group kids, more than an hour of training at a time, and kind of moving to our normal scenario, which is obviously multiple hour training. And again, we want to be able to have the opportunity to play water polo as soon as possible. And I think that's a priority to us. Obviously, you can see on the right side of our potential sites that we're trying to negotiate, trying to get in. That's where the protocols are super important because, again, I think if we want you to be safe for ourselves, but also the pools that we're using don't want to see us being unsafe. So I know we've had some issues with parents coming on deck. Please, for those who know me, I always want parents involved into our program. Like, I believe we're all a big family. So this is not something we're doing to penalize you guys. We're just trying to keep everyone safe and get back to our normal pools as soon as possible and try to get back to a normal water polo. I had several people ask me about JOs, and whatever your opinion is, we will be trying to participate in whatever form of water polo. And again, right now, I don't feel positive that we will be playing in any kind of tournament in December, but that's my goal. That's our goal. And I think you can kind of see, from what I hear, and again, I might have inside information, but I can't share, is it'll be more like regionalized. Okay, so it'll probably be like a coastal California. There's no qualification tournament. It's going to be able. So just kind of having smaller little pocket tournaments. And I think right now, just for me personally, seeing water polo being played, because like on our national team, we were a little bit further along on the protocols than our club is allowed, but we are still not able to play water polo like they are playing in Europe. So hopefully that's something we can get to quickly. We just want to reiterate to everybody about like kind of where we're at, what our plans are, what we're trying to do. So in the next couple of days to a week, you will be hearing additional pools and additional pool hours being available. And then with the idea, if hopefully in October, we are able to kind of resume a kind of normal training schedule, which means like a couple of hours, multiple hours of training, water polo, maybe some still conditioning. Coach Beamer.
To talk about some of our potential future pools, right? As mentioned, we have Red Hills and South Hills Country Club, which has been great, but our time there is probably expiring as we get deeper into fall. The pools aren't necessarily heated and lighting is a bit of an issue. And most country clubs, we are finding out now, shut down for at least a few weeks in October to kind of revitalize the entire club. So our potential sites starting October 1st become pretty imperative. I'm sure you recognize a lot of those names: Los Osos, Montclair, Las Flores, as usual suspects of pools that we've used in the past. But I want you guys to be assured that we are trying to find as much water as possible to accommodate as many kids as possible to be both compliant and safe and still having your kids active. I was at the Rancho Swim lesson place today. They have a brand new pool that I think is going to be ideal for not just our 10 and under group, but probably our 12 and under group as well. And we're thinking about adding in some additional high school training there. That would be non-water polo related, but really just swim training more than anything. So we are actively searching for new and better facilities until the ones that we are used to become available to us.
As we go forward, just making sure, especially for seniors and juniors, I think, I know it's kind of weird, but honestly, just on the recruiting front, and I don't know, Coach Beamer could say it, I've had way more contacts, way more communication with recruits than ever before for seniors and juniors. So I think just having that idea, we are a reference for you guys. So that is something that your son or daughter can be doing at the moment, is creating a program, trying to educate themselves a little bit more about the colleges, especially if you're a senior parent. I would highly recommend you need to get on the ball, because I think it's going to be a more difficult year to be admitted to where you're at with so many kids taking leaves. So those kids are going to come back and be freshmen next year. So some schools are going to have a more difficult time admitting. For example, Pomona will be it will be much more challenging. to be admitted next year. So I think just being more educated, you could reach out. Obviously, we have several college coaches on staff: Coach Law, Coach Lonzo, Coach Beamer, Lala, no, there has to be more. Tibbetts, Dave, Gillen. Oh yeah, Coach Gillen. So I think of all these college coaches, we all have a lot of reference. We all kind of shared our ideas, and we all kind of have the same process as we're going forward. So I don't see any questions in the chat. Guess we did a great job of presenting.
Actually, Alex, I think Amanda has been getting some questions, but I don't know what they are.
Amanda?
The first question we have is from Nicholas, and it's what age groups are meeting where?
I can handle that one, A-Rod.
Sure.
So Nicholas, as of right now, we are doing as one full group. Whenever you have time, we're having kids of all ages and age groups in the water at the same time. Our hope and our plan, hopefully even within the next couple of weeks, is to be able to separate by age group and gender so that you guys are practicing more with your peers. But as it stands today, I know, matter of fact, as we speak, we have a group of kids in the water at both South Hill and Red Hills, and it's a pretty eclectic group at both spots. We're going to do our best to communicate and front load information as best as we can as to when we're switching into age groups and where we're switching into age groups.
Next question is from Maddie, and is there any word on when JOs will be?
Guess I have to answer that one. Right now, USA Water Polo was supposed to release something this week. I'm expecting it. They're pushing it back. So I'm expecting to hear word next week, and they're pushing it back because it's obviously not positive right now. I think you can expect, if it's not in December, I don't imagine it. I think it'll be canceled. And I think it'll be more regional. It'll be more like, again, Coastal will be playing against Coastal teams. SOPAC will be playing SOPAC teams. But right now, I can't tell you that I feel positive that's going to happen. That's our goal, but I do not feel positive about that.
Okay, next question is from C. Jackson. What about doing small groups at private pool homes, dry land practice a couple times a week?
Coach Jackson, we've explored that a little bit. We did so early on, and that's not outside of the realm of possibility. But the one hiccup that we had there is we as a club, we are insured through USA Water Polo, and USA Water Polo pretty early on put the kibosh on backyard pools and covered practices, right? So part of our whole aim is to keep the kids safe and protected, quite frankly. And if we don't have insurance on the backyard pool, then that makes it a little trickier. We did do early on a lot of Zoom dryland meetings. As we move forward, especially with pools like the Fontana Aquatic Center, we know that we have limited time there, but lots of space to do dryland. So one of the things that we're talking about implementing is doing a half an hour or 45 minutes of dryland workout and then getting in the water for an hour. So that way we have the kids active and engaged for more than the 60 minutes that we have right now. So that is something that is developing, but probably will not happen in somebody's home pool.
And I want to bring up also, sorry, Amanda, before you ask the next question, is something I am pushing for, so maybe I'm the only one, but is trying to have some morning trainings. I know everyone's at home and school starts at 8, and maybe I'm just the morning person that Law always complains about. But we might be offering, hopefully, is some morning training hours just to get in and take advantage of the schedule that is allowed. And again, first slide was trying to be patient and understanding. We are going to try to provide a product for you, and I think at the end of the day, we have to jump through some hoops. So on the backyard pools, I'm honestly pretty against that to a way. I don't mind like people doing a little private lessons, but Our priority is making sure your athletes and you guys are safe, because let's be honest, you guys are more of the target than the athletes for this. So just making sure we're safe until we have a better plan. Add it.
Okay, next question is from Kelly. If they're opening high school pools soon, does that mean high school practices would start?
So from what I understand, every high school is kind of on their own, but so yes, that could be high school practices starting. So I think that's something we're going to have to delve. I mean, obviously, I think most people in a high school level understand that I'm pretty involved, and we're as a club pretty involved with all the high school programs as best as we can. And we'll be having to communicate, and we're trying to communicate with several of them to see what's going to happen regarding pool availability at their pools and what type of programming they're going to be able and allowed to. So I think I don't feel like every high school is going to react the same way to the reopening and the programming of your high school. So I think it's going to depend. So I could just clearly say Pomona College is going to be a little bit more cautious than other colleges, just based on the information I'm getting from our president and my dean. Meta.
Okay, so the next question is from Terry. Are there sessions going on now that we can sign up for?
Yes, Terry, the short answer to that question is yes. We do have limited space as far as I understand. We have some space at South Hills, which is a little closer to you in Laverne. I do think that we have a slot or two open at Red Hill as well. Our point person on that is going to be Dave Merriman. He's been handling all the registrations and has kind of been Jenga piecing people into different spots. I would encourage you, Terry, or anybody else to follow up with Dave, or you can contact me directly offline, because I have access to at least knowing where we have slots in terms of times and place. So I'm happy to field that however you like.
So next question is from Mrs. Rapp. Will USA Water Polo allow certain teams to play within certain counties that get off the watch list?
From what I understand, yes. So I think USA Water Polo is not dictating anything from a USA Water Polo perspective, but counties, like I do know, like San Diego County, they've been practicing, they started before us. You know, USA Water Polo senior national team, we were at Willette the last month and a half. So I think every county and facility is going to operate differently. So I think their idea, if there's any kind of JOs, would be to have like more of a regional based on counties, and open up to whatever teams are available to play. I do not believe there's going to be a JOs like we've experienced in the past this year.
I do know that USA Water Polo has basically said we are supportive in ensuring you up to what your local regulations will allow, and probably not literally as we speak, but right now there are some kids in some states who are playing actual water polo as we know it, right? There are other states and counties that are doing a very socially distanced, just shooting and passing with non-contact. I know like half of our club is in LA County, where we have a little bit more of a stringent guideline than we do in San Bernardino County. But that's a long-winded way of saying yes to you, Mrs. Rapp.
And again, I want to be clear, because I'm not, there's been some clubs that have had to shut down because of a outbreak. So I want to be sure to everybody that we are very interested in making sure we're safe and returning. So I didn't want this town hall meeting to go as like, oh, these guys just want to start playing right away, which we do. Like we really, really, really do. But we want to stress That's why, you know, some of our slides were based on making sure we're safe and making sure we're listening to the county and the information that we're getting is strong and we're trying to come back in a safe manner. And we need your support.
Alex, I see a question from Marta Allen. Marta is asking, you know, how will it work relative to the different counties, aka LA and San Bernardino, opening at different times? We're gonna approach that when we get to it, Marta. As it is right now, both counties are falling under the California state guidelines for youth sports. There's not much differentiation between the two. So I don't know if they're going to continue to move in unison as to when can you have a contact practice, for example, when can you actually scrimmage, even if it's within our own club. Presumably, we will, not presumably, definitely, we will follow the guidelines prescribed to us by the county and by which pool that we're in, right? So we've mentioned we're using South Hills and Red Hills country clubs. They're in 2 different counties, right? So theoretically, if they say in San Bernardino County, you can have, you know, medium contact or some semblance of water polo, and LA County says not, then we would probably abide by both of those at the same time.
Agreed. Well, if there's no more questions, I really appreciate it. I'm actually really excited by the turnout. Again, this is something I think we're going to I mean, any feedback to me, myself, Coach Beamer, Amanda, did you guys enjoy this? But I think, maybe not enjoy it, but find it helpful. We definitely are going to try to do this going forward, especially with so many changes, so many different practice schedules and expectations that we've never had to deal with before. So going forward, we are definitely going to do this townhouse meeting once a month, and we'll be communicating, and hopefully it gives opportunity for you guys to just hear my words, Coach Beamer's words. Unfortunately, Coach Law had to coach, so he is not on the call, but he would have been on the call as well. So if there's no more questions, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your support. I know it's been hectic, but I think getting your kids out and playing and in the pool is great and safe, and we need to keep fighting together. And if anyone ever needs anything, please, we're like a family. You guys reach out. We're here to support each other as best we can. So thank you guys so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you at the pool.